Maybe we can do it in 2 bites. If it conks out, then obviously we'll take a break
can stop
and
and then go
sort
again.
that out.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. Ready?
I am ready.
Hi, Cara.
Hi, Vicky. How are you doing?
I am very well, considering. Yeah, we're doing all right.
Considering.
Yeah, considering.
What are we considering as we weigh up
We're
how well you
considering
are?
my sweat to skin ratio, really. That's what
It's
we're considering.
extremely high for
Yeah,
everyone right now.
but it's
My
okay.
God.
No one can smell me. That's the beauty of podcasts. There's no smell-o-vision. So we're good, I think. We're going to go walk the dog after this because he's been waiting because
Oh, it's so hard for
it's
them.
so
I'm
hard
just
for a
in the same
pupper.
boat.
Yeah.
Same boat. We've done some sniff games instead of a walk this morning.
Oh,
And
that's cute.
well,
I love
it's
Ted and his
something.
sniff games. I love
He
him.
loves a sniff. He would
Mhm.
be very offended at being called games, but yeah. And is Jam happy to walk when it's dark outside? Does he
Yeah,
get
yeah,
freaked
yeah.
out?
He's fine. No, no freak out. He's very easily pleased, Jumbo. He really is
Oh,
very minimal. So he's just a bit like, we've only been out once today, and that's unusual. Because also they can't detect the heat, can they? They're rubbish at being like, well, now I'm too hot. They just can't deal with it.
I don't know. This might be that thing of dogs being like their owners, and you're quite chill and quite contented. So Jam is, whereas Ted walks into a hot room and looks at me with complete
Does
disdain and just kind
he?
of goes, oh, like flops
Oh,
over
it
on his
really
side,
bothers
like,
him.
but resentment,
Ah, yeah,
not even like upset, like he's angry at me,
yeah.
like I did
You are the
this.
controller of the weather. Yeah,
But
that's
would
true.
Jam just go out there and be like, yeah, let's walk? I don't
Yeah,
care.
it's really
Oh
annoying
my
because it's so
gosh.
unsafe. Like, and he'll like want to play in the garden because we'll have the door open all
Oh.
day so he can wander in and out. But like he wants to play, and it's like, well, no, it's too hot, Bubba. Like you can't play in the heat, and he gets very upset at that we can't play in the
Oh.
heat.
Oh, he'll be
Um,
looking forward to his little nighttime outing then.
yeah, just a tiny one, just a poop and a wee and a stretch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
what
what
I
we do.
do after a podcast
Oh my
recording.
God, we all
It's
do it. We all, every podcast you ever hear, a poop and a wee and a
every
stretch.
single one. That's the secret behind the showbiz.
Behind the showbiz. You've got your curtain back,
Speaking,
your
I
beautiful
have.
curtain.
Isn't that
That is
better?
showbiz.
I
That
feel
is showbiz.
back in the team. And today's lady is quite a razzmatazz kind of gal, so
All
it's good that
right.
we're bringing the finesse. She'd be very cross if we
I'm
didn't.
very excited. Shall we do it?
Yeah, let's go for it and learn
Hmm.
about a woman who kind of personifies some extremes in American history and some extremes, maybe even of our national character. So I thought to start off with, there's a quote here from the lady herself, which I think gives a little bit of a flavor of who she is.
Quote, I like noise, rhinestone heels, customers, plenty of attention, and red velvet bathing suits. I smoke like a five-alarm fire. I eat an aspirin every night before I go to bed. I call every man I don't know Fred, and they love it. I guess that settles my personality.
Oh, I know, right?
Ah!
You're like, yes, yes, please. So this is a quote from a woman called Texas Guinan. Um, Texas wasn't her birth name. It's
I was gonna
probably
say,
not
I haven't
surprised
heard
to
that as a
hear.
name. Is
But
it like a
we'll
drag
get to,
name?
we'll get kind of, yeah, it's a bit of
Yeah.
a showbiz touch. So she was born in a small town in Texas. Little doesn't take
Okay.
a huge leap to figure it out. Um, and from that humble beginning, she went on to the warm embrace of a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And
Oh.
along the way, she had run ins with the law. She hobnobbed with the luminaries of the jazz age. Her life took place during one of America's more strange and lively periods before now. So the kind of person who just whirled through life with a wink and a smile, we are going to meet Texas Guinan.
Oh my
And
gosh, I
I've
can't wait.
peppered with pictures, which
Okay.
hopefully we'll get to share on the socials.
Hmm.
The sources for today are the Encyclopedia Britannica, Texas State Historical Association, and a Waco, Texas history blog, Vogue and Oxford American magazines, and Columbia University's Women Film Pioneers Project. There was also an article by an author called Robert Lortzel, and I first heard of her in a book called One Summer, America, 1927 by Bill Bryson, which is spectacular. I can't say enough how much I love this book, but she was just one of the characters. So she herself was born Mary Louise Cecilia Guinan in 1884 in Waco, Texas. And her parents were Irish immigrants. You probably are aware the Irish faced a lot of racial prejudice in America at that time, Catholics in particular. So they on a ranch, and her father was a grocer. Mary Louise was encouraged to learn some traditional kind of Texas Western skills like riding and roping cattle, which
Okay.
she just took to. She was really, really adept. Less adept at school. Really, she was
Mm-hmm.
not very interested in being a student. So
Okay.
she was much more the type to kind of every class has got this person in it who disrupts the class, makes wisecracks, and makes everybody laugh. And this was despite the fact that her humble, hardworking parents were paying to send her to a posh private
Oh,
Catholic
no way.
school.
Oh,
Yeah.
and her
So,
being an immigrant, that's a big deal. Like,
yeah,
really? Oh,
they
okay,
wouldn't
okay,
have
okay, okay.
been too impressed, I'm
Yeah.
sure. But by the time she reached the age of 16, she was just like, this is not for me. I want to be an entertainer. I'm going to chase that dream.
Oh my
So,
gosh. But how many
yeah.
16-year-olds say that? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, all
And
right.
taking that risk, she moved to Chicago, which is thousands of miles away from Waco, Texas. And her goal there was to study music. So, bear in mind, this person is 16 to 18 years old in this span of time. She's doing this study. During that period, she met, married, and then divorced a successful newspaper artist.
Hey.
I don't know what the age difference was, but if he was up and running in a career, you have to imagine.
Yeah, slightly
But anyway,
older.
she had this like whirlwind marriage.
Okay,
It wasn't for her. She
fine.
also learned that maybe singing wasn't necessarily her strong suit because,
Oh,
yeah, her voice apparently was so so. But
okay.
yeah,
Just like
I mean,
mine.
yeah, just like mine, we've got what we've got. And just like us, she was willing to kind of work hard and make the most of what she had and just enjoy it. But because of who she was, she sort of wouldn't take no for an answer. And she found work as a chorus girl. So, do you know about vaudeville? Is that a concept that's
No, what
in
does that
Britain?
mean?
There's a little quote here. If you read it, I
Okay.
think it'll be familiar to you, but you call it a different name, I think.
Oh, a light entertainment popular from the mid 1890s until the early 1930s that consisted of 10 to 15 individual unrelated acts featuring magicians, acrobats, comedians, trained animals, jugglers, singers, and dancers. I think we'd call that a variety show.
That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
couldn't remember the phrase. Yes,
Yeah.
variety show, exactly. And you still have that now in
A little bit. Yeah, yeah. We have the what do you call it? Royal Variety Show. That's the main one. Britain's Got Talent, basically, is one that goes on forever and never dies.
yeah,
But also sounds a bit
no matter.
circusy, doesn't it? It sounds a little
Yes,
bit like a
exactly.
circus.
Just a bit of spectacle and a little bit of everything together. But it suited Mary Louise because she wasn't trying to put it in a respectful way. She wasn't like naturally gifted, but she had so much charisma. And that kind of environment allowed her to interact directly with the audience and charm them. And she would tell them stories about the Wild West. And probably some of the stories might have been
Mm.
true, but she would make them laugh. She would
Yes.
tease them. And she kind of cultivated her persona. And I think she had a lot of what we would call now banter. She was
I
really
like
good.
her. I like her a
Yeah, like
lot.
it's hard not to. So
Yeah.
she's out there working the crowds, having a grand old time,
Mhm.
and traveling about. So that vaudeville review style of performance would go place to place to place. And then ultimately it brought her to New York City. And that was, by now it's 1906. This is the absolute epicenter of the live entertainment industry. Broadway is where it's all happening. So she put her sights on getting a role in Broadway
Okay.
and worked at it, did not give up. And eventually in 1913, that happened for her. She was in a
Wow.
Broadway role, but just like a bit part, nothing,
I'm not being funny to get on. That's not easy. That's not easy now, let
no.
alone then. That's
And to
like,
stick it out as well. I mean, to
yeah.
stick it out for what, 7 years and just keep plugging away without any real outside reinforcement
Yeah.
that you're any good.
You need to be a good singer and a good dancer and a good entertainer to be on Broadway. You don't just get on Broadway.
You don't. And I think you also need to have a really thick skin to repeatedly be told, yeah, you're not quite lead star potential material, and to
Yeah,
just
yeah,
go,
yeah.
fine, I'll do whatever you give me.
Fine,
I just want to be in it. Like the ego gets put to one side.
fine.
But it worked for her because she is in this Broadway show, and a talent scout from Hollywood came a knockin'. And
Oh,
this is like right place, right time. Um, this is the time in the entertainment industry in the States when Hollywood is hitting its golden age of silent films. And to kind of give you an idea, like they are firing off these movies. The supply cannot keep up with the demand. People are hungry for entertainment. And the production of movies was happening at a rate of about double the age of Netflix and stuff. You think the demand right now is quite high,
hi.
double it. So they are just
Wow.
turning out this stuff. And with
Hmm.
her cute looks and her roping and riding skills,
Oh, I see.
she was a bit of a specialist act.
Yeah.
So that set of skills is how she got her permanent nickname of Texas. She took that as her like Hollywood name, and that was it for the rest of her life.
Oh, I see. I get it now. It's adorable. I love
Yeah,
it.
right. So yeah, Texas.
Tex.
They they started featuring her in movies where she was sort of like the central attraction in about 1918,
Okay.
and she is iconically said to have been the first movie cowgirl. So,
Yeah, I see that.
it's a
Yeah.
big deal. There's a cute movie poster here with her
Oh,
all gussied
look. Oh,
up
for
and
heaven's
her
sake.
get out with her guns.
She looks just like Jessie from Toy Story, doesn't she? Who is
Absolutely
now the main
adorable.
one? Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely.
So she cracked on with this, right, for 15 years. And in that 15-year period, she made nearly 50 movies. So
I mean, how long were these movies? Are we talking like
they,
2 or 3 minutes?
I think that I think they were between half an hour and an hour. I can't
Okay.
say for sure, but
Yeah.
uh,
But
in
at the
that
time with the
era,
technology, with
and
the
they're interspersing text cards, the little
hmm
boards. So, these are it's a
it's still
different
a big
thing.
deal. Still a big deal
It's
though.
still a big deal, but
Yeah.
she was hardworking. And whilst doing all that, she also carried on doing some stage work and thought, I know what would be fun. I can jump into hospitality as well. Because, what better environment for someone who loves to be the center of attention and for whom life is just one big party? She's like, let's do this. So she started hostessing, managing nightclubs and bringing this like Hollywood glamour. However, like her life timeline intersects with a couple of interesting points in American history. And the next thing that came along was Prohibition. So this was a time of challenge, and she turned it to her advantage. But before we talk about that,
hmm
in case it's not like sort of broadly known, there's a quote there that explains Prohibition in a nutshell.
The Prohibition was the period from 1920 to 1933, during which the manufacture, transportation, and sale of alcoholic beverages was made illegal in the United States.
So,
No booze for
um,
you.
no booze for anyone. Well, except
Oh,
Who's for
unless you
some.
bootlegged. Yeah.
Yes. So once that act was in place, there was about a decade of time when it stood as law.
That's
And
a
there was
long
this kind of,
time.
it is. And, it took a while to kind of like come up and it took a while to sort of disintegrate, but it's still a solid decade of, from a modern
Yeah.
perspective,
And this is countrywide,
bonkers.
right?
Countrywide with a couple of notable exceptions, but for the purposes of this conversation, yes,
Okay.
nationally, prohibition. And there were those who still wanted to drink alcohol, and
Me.
there were those, right, like all of us, there were those who were finding a way to sell it to them. And then there was the law enforcement side of things that was trying to squash that and sort of shut it down. So, just to give you an idea, what people who broke prohibition law were kind of looking down the barrel of, if you had a first conviction, so it gets worse from here. This is your entry level conviction for
Okay.
prohibition offenses. You could get a fine of up to $1,000, which is $16,000 in today's money, and
$16,000.
16,000 first offense, and or imprisonment for up to 6 months.
My God.
So any business premises that breaks prohibition law, even a business where the proprietors had given their customer a glass and some ice for their own liquor that they snuck in,
Right.
that's an offense because you are
Oh my
facilitating
God.
someone drinking alcohol. So the law enforcement could come along and padlock your door.
I did
Literally,
know that. Yeah.
they would
Yeah. Yeah.
padlock for a year.
Just so dramatic.
So it's so
So
dramatic.
dramatic.
And it's like, it's so counterintuitive now, but you sort of think businesses failed, restaurants failed, bars, nightclubs,
Mm.
breweries, distilleries, the tax income that would have
Yeah.
come off of the sale of that
Major.
alcohol, the shipping companies, all the people who worked in hospitality out of work. So it said in one of the articles I read, 250,000 people lost their legitimate jobs overnight. And this was while America was already in a mild recession and, heading towards the Great Depression.
Mm.
So
Was it a religious thing, the prohibition?
the the person who came up with it, apparently as a child, a farm hand who was drunk had stuck him in the foot with a pitchfork.
I remember this. Yes.
Alcohol is
Yeah.
the root of all evil. And he was really, really
But
good
how
at
did he get
staying
the whole
on
country
message.
on board? It's
I
insane.
think he had a lot of bully boy mudslinging techniques that he used to kind of frighten any opponents. And people kind of got behind it. They were like, "Oh yeah,
Oh
this
my
is
God.
he's so clear. It's so persuasive because he didn't muddy the water. He didn't pull in anything else, just this
He
singular
had one
message.
message.
One message, this will fix us. This will make our nation great again.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh no, oh no. So yes. And unfortunately for him, when the law circumscribes personal liberty, there's always somebody who sees that as an opportunity.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so with the prohibition came the rise of organized crime.
Hmm.
Bootleggers, moonshiners, people who transported alcohol illegally, the theft of a few exempt forms of alcohol, such as the ones that doctors were allowed because they
Oh
were the
yeah.
medium that medicine would be
Yeah, yeah,
distilled
yeah.
into. Those things would be robbed, often violently.
Of course.
Um, and then you have the illegal nightclubs. So you will have heard the term speakeasies or speaks,
Hmm.
as apparently. I feel weird saying it.
Oh.
Oh, get this. They were apparently also called a beer flat, a blind pig, a blind tiger. It's all very like day to day. It's very strange.
Oh.
I don't know if these things are true. I'm just reading them.
And
I think
that's
they're
what a
funny.
speakeasy is.
A speakeasy is an illegal alcohol venue,
It's
right?
like
So
a
it's like a
Bugsy Malone
little,
vibe.
yeah,
Yeah.
like a little hidden club that you can go into and get a drink. And so now we come back to Texas Guinan.
Because she's
She
there.
she's there. She's a shrewd businesswoman and she's got a keen eye for fun. And Americans during this time still wanted fun. It was a
Yeah.
dull time. And she did not care, you know, about breaking the rules and the risks
Okay.
of fines, the risks of imprisonment. whatever. So I've got a quote here that I think explains her position pretty well.
What Americans needed, judged Guinan, was a place where they could escape. So she set up her clubs, and between the hours of 10 p.m. and 6 a.m., customers were free to do as they pleased.
So it's
Lord,
like
oh.
A little naughty
Do as
place
they
where you can go.
pleased. That's quite
And
broad.
she's in there. She's the hostess. She's this
Okay.
powerhouse there, even though it's kind of like a freer age, the jazz age. Women are still not really having any kind of legal parity. They're sort of
Yeah.
fighting to be heard, but she's out there commanding attention, commanding respect, and making these illegal clubs the place to be.
Are you
So,
saying clubs as in plural? She had more than one.
she did. She had
Mm.
a lot of irons and a lot of fires, and she would move about
Oh,
and,
I'm so
take the show
jealous.
on the road. Um,
Yeah.
if you read Shrines of Gaiety by Kate
Yes, I did.
Atkinson,
Yeah.
you know, oh gosh, I can't think
Oh,
of the character's
I know the
name,
character
but the
there. Yeah.
proprietress who just would have one club pop up, another club pop up,
Yeah.
very much that
And
vibe.
they all had funky names, didn't they? Like the
Yeah.
Egyptian and what's the
Yes.
character's name? Atkins.
Do you know what? I have it. I pulled it up. It is Nellie Coker,
Nelly,
Ma
that's it.
Coker,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
her
yeah.
gorgeous son. Oh.
I
But
know, I
anyway,
know, I know.
um, she writes a good Scotsman, does Kate Atkinson. Right. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. There's a
Oh,
quote here
poorly.
from the New Yorker from 1920
Yeah.
about Texas Guinan and her nightclubs.
Oh, there is one woman who gets away with vulgarity, and that, of course, is Texas Guinan. The club is terrible. It is rowdy. It is vulgar. It is maudlin. It is terrifically vital. At any rate, the place after 2 o'clock is always jammed to the doors. Oh, it is a tough and terrible place. Everybody should go once in a lifetime. Yes, what a
It's
review.
It's so good, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah, yeah.
irresistible to people. And that's the key to her success, that Texas gave people the thrill of a scandalous,
I
sort of
was just thinking
risque.
scandal. That made me think
Yeah.
scandal once in your
It's like,
lifetime. Whew.
oh, but she kept it all kind of light and playful. So
Okay, not dark, not
she's
seedy.
no, well, quite seedy, I reckon,
Quite
but yeah, like
seedy.
in a fun way, like
Yeah, yeah,
fun
yeah.
seedy. So, but you're basically kind of probably safe, seems all
Yeah.
right. So she's maintaining that veneer of, ah, it's all right, really, because whilst she's out there doing this, breaking prohibition laws and hostessing these quite sort of like risque clubs, she's still a movie star. So
Yeah.
she's blurring the lines. She's going between New York and Chicago and Hollywood, and she's drawing in all of these talents, the kind of superstars of her generation.
Confidence to do all of this is beyond measurable. And also this self-belief, the self-belief you must have to rock on
In
is
buckets. Yeah,
steadfast.
absolutely.
I love
Bucket
it.
loads of confidence and mingling with, these incredible talents. And she herself is just kind of like maybe a B movie actress,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah,
she's
I get that.
pulling in the Algonquin table. She's got George Gershwin, Mae West, Al Jolson. I'm going to read you a laundry list now of names.
Mm.
Clara Bow, John Barrymore, Dorothy Parker,
Mm.
Rudolph Valentino, they're all regulars at her clubs. And these are names that here we are 100 years later.
Yeah,
We still know who these people were. Like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
these were the
They're
crowd, and
classic
they're
as well
they're
now.
turning up
Yeah.
to see her and to see this environment that she's
Mm.
created. So
It's a little bit like
that's
Cilla Black. Like that's a little bit of the vibe I'm getting. Because Cilla Black back
I
in the day,
love
she knew
that.
everyone and everything. And she was
Yeah,
also this like entertainer and, could command a room. But also, like you say, I'd say more of a B list than an A list and all that kind of stuff. I've
but
got a
just
little bit of that
charm. Yeah,
charm. Yeah.
and made people feel good,
Yeah.
which is great, but unfortunately for this specific use case, it masked a kind of darker truth, because behind all the fun and celebrities and the kind of controversial, it actually was quite dark. It was organized and bankrolled by organized crime. The reason that they weren't prosecuted as often as they probably should have been was because there were mob heavies sort of making that the case.
Oh, oh
They would
no.
employ, like again, Shrines of Gaiety, they were employing scandalously young girls to sing, dance, and mingle, whatever that
Yeah.
may mean. Ew, right? And I mean, Texas herself sort of seemed to have a bit of charm about it and kind of thought she was giving these girls a way into entertainment and
Yeah.
industry. And she would
Probably
apparently,
rightfully so as well. Probably like
yeah, this is
that
it.
was
She's like,
her
it did me
experience.
no harm. This is your opportunity, kid. Like,
Yeah.
and she would introduce them and try to sort of big them up and say, oh, she's just the sweetest little thing you ever did see, and try to like get the crowd on side.
Yeah.
And then there was also like that factor, the Cilla Black factor of how she treats her guests. And this is her kind of real secret sauce, because that sass, you think, oh, she can't possibly be up to anything no good. She's adorable. So she was this like beautiful, statuesque, fashionable figure, always with a cheeky smile. And her
Mm.
punchline when she would greet people was to say, hello, suckers. Um, and there's a quote there to explain what she meant by it,
She once explained it as her way of saying, "Hello, pal, aren't we all alike after all?"
which is
Yeah,
oh,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I get that. I get that.
cute.
Yeah.
So the law did come a knocking ultimately, and serving alcohol, everyone knew she was doing it, but she always came out swinging. So that just added to her kind of rebellious
Oh, so
appeal.
it
And
added to the brand. Yeah.
it did. If you care to read this quote from one of her trials,
Miss Guinan's particular function was to make a whoopee, a prosecutor told the jurors. She made everyone feel at home in a jovial way. There was entertainment, the silliest of songs and jokes, and the thumbing of noses at the law. These exhibitions of whoopee were going on while the guests of the establishment were getting thoroughly in the spirit of the occasion thanks to the liquor they had obtained. The all-male jury found her not guilty.
mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Hey Fred,
Mm-hmm.
how about you let me off? Like she, that juror obviously, or that prosecutor obviously thought, I've got her banged to rights. I'm going to tell them exactly who
Yes,
she is. And they were like, we love her, give
we
us more of
want
her.
the
What's
alcohol
the
at the
address? Yeah,
speakeasy.
like
Yeah,
how
what's
do we
the
find the
address?
slaves? So she got arrested 49 times.
Oh, that's a
And
lot. That's almost as
it's a
many movies as she did.
yeah, like
Yeah.
an arrest and then a movie, an arrest and then a movie. She went to trial twice. So,
Oh.
and it was a mistake when she
That's the
did.
stats you trust, isn't it? If you're getting picked up 49 times and only going to court twice, I'll have
I
those odds. They're pretty
I
good
think
odds.
that sounds pretty good. And like
Yeah,
she was never going to be found guilty because she just had this natural ease, this
I don't
natural
understand.
glamour. And she
Yeah.
would make the jury laugh. And then the prosecutors came across as these pinched little weirdos. And she
Right. Yeah,
also
yeah, yeah.
had the heft of organized crime behind her. They had money, they would back her up sort of with legal force and also threatening anyone who would be testifying against her. And they had super, super well educated lawyers that they would bring in,
Mm,
and they'd
because
find
they
legal
had the
loopholes.
money. Yeah.
Um, so
Isn't that
she,
interesting that she was puppeteering? She was playing a show when she was in
yeah,
court, right?
she
And
was,
she was
it was a
manipulating the
role.
crowd. Yeah, 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 yeah. Like it.
it was it was all just on that edge,
Yeah.
always just on that edge. So she would have said, I'm a proprietress and I'm an entertainer, not a bootlegger. It's free to do as she pleased because the juries would agree with her, and so she carried on breaking the law.
Okay.
And apparently her one of her places was padlocked, apparently, And Guinan decided this was a great cover. So she left the padlock in place and opened the delivery door in the
Mate.
back alley so that the party could carry
Yes.
on. And I'm like, all
In
right,
love. That is genius.
just absolute genius. She
Yeah.
was an entertainer. She understood spectacle. Another story, which is much darker, is that because a lot of criminal types would come to these clubs, which was part of the frisson for the well-heeled, but they were criminals. So occasionally it would bubble over. And at one point in one of her Chicago clubs, there was a fatal shooting. And the police did intervene, obviously, and they required her to come and make a statement. So she said, yes, fine, hold that thought, and summoned a limousine and called the media to present this spectacle of her going to the police station to testify
Whoa, that's a
in
bit
her
icky, isn't
limo.
it?
It is a little,
Yeah.
it is a little over the line,
A bit
but
vulgar.
this was her. And so even in death, she brought the showmanship. So
Yeah.
she died a horrible, horrible death.
Did you?
She had amoebic dysentery, which nobody wants to die that way. She apparently was in a lovely hotel in Chicago during the World's Fair, and sanitation was not what it should have been with so many people coming and going. And then she got
Right.
sick, but she knew she was sickening and dying. So, oh, and by the way, she died just a few weeks before Prohibition ended. So
Oh, bugger. You're
I
joking.
know, right? Like, who knows what might have been. But
Oh, bless
because
her.
she knew she was dying, she requested that her funeral would have an open casket. And I've got some words of hers to explain why.
So the suckers can get a good look at me without a cover charge. Oh, oh, the sass.
Sass,
The
sass.
sass.
So she is the quintessential lovable rogue. There were
Mhm.
7,500 people at her funeral, and even more came to
Wow.
view the body, which was like laid in state, like a
Like a
queen.
state funeral. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So people adored her, and from stage to silent movies to the speakeasies, she was that jazz age glamour and that spirit of
Mhm.
rebelliousness. So it's a tricky subject because she did do so many things that you're like, oh, but you can't
Yeah.
help admiring the sass. And I think
Mhm.
we should all have a lovely cocktail and take a look
Yes.
at the amazing photos of her once we upload them because damn.
It's very interesting that she died. She must have died quite young then. How old was she?
So Prohibition ended in 1933 and she was born in 1884. And now we expose the fact that I cannot do math.
So that's
19.
33, 50, isn't it?
Okay. So, and you know
She
what?
is.
That scans because
That's not bad. That's a
some
good
of those
innings, really.
photos you can see that she's
Yeah.
a woman of a certain age, and the fact that she's still like striking these dramatic poses and wearing these incredible
Oh, wow. Look at
1940s
that.
dresses and feathers and sequins and pearls, and oh
Oh,
my god,
it's
I just
so
love the clothes.
1920s. It's so
Oh,
Bugsy Malone. That's the vibe.
just gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous,
Yeah.
gorgeous clothes. So yeah, but she's like my age and still rocking this stuff and being like, yeah, that's
Mhm.
right, I'm glamorous, you're
I've
having
seen you
it.
be glam. I've seen you be glam. Stop this. Stop
Well,
that.
I think it's important. So,
Yeah.
yep, there we have it. That is my story for today. The lovely, if controversial, Texas Gwinnett.
Oh, what a little sprinkle of glamour you've given us on the
I
pod,
know.
Cara. Isn't that cool? And it's
Yeah, I
so
don't
nice
mind a
to
bit of
learn
that.
about a world that, again, isn't in the history books, isn't what you've taught about. But actually, she needed like interpersonal skills, talking to people, influencing people, persuading people. That's not easy. It sounded like she had a bit of a business head on her. It
Oh,
sounded like she
for
knew how to
sure.
negotiate. It sounded like she knew how to cook up a storm, like create a spectacle and pull those puppet strings on the media, on the jury, on her audience, on even I guess relationships. There must have been relationships with directors and stuff like that. To get casted in 50 movies, you have to be likable, don't
Yeah,
you?
and to be willing to put in the work, even if you're not, like Clara Bow was the belle of the time. Everyone, oh, she's so beautiful, she's so talented, we must have her. That is not the kind of adoration that Texas Guinan received, but she just went, all right, then, I'll do whatever you got.
Fine.
And I think that pragmatism and lack of ego, coupled with this desire for admiration and glamour, is quite a rare combo. And she isn't just a good gal. She is a little bit slimy and a little bit criminal and a little bit sleazy. And you've spoken before about wanting to bring in these stories of women who are a bit nuanced and
a bit complex, babe.
Complicated, yeah. And so I think she's a fun one to kind of dig into for that too.
I love it. I love peeking behind the 1930s flapper girl door.
We've talked before about like sticking to the rules and, being hardworking and being good and getting your head down. I don't think we would have been running a speakeasy or a blind pig or a
that picture of her with her hand on her hip and she's like leaning on one leg and she just looks so relaxed and so like, yeah, what? And what?
She owns the room.
Yeah, she does. She really does. And
I like her circus ringmaster all in white number as well.
Do you think that's white? Yeah,
it looks white. It is. Yeah. I think it is. She'd probably throw it away if she spilled anything on it.
Yeah.
Take it away.
Take it away. Wow. Well, thank you very much, Cara.
My absolute pleasure. Enjoy cooling off once you can get out into the night air. Oh, I'm cooking.
It's disgusting.
Thank you for listening to this episode of She Changed History. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, and comment below. Find us on our socials, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. If you've got any ideas of women you'd like us to cover in a future episode, please comment on the socials or email us at shechangedhistory@gmail.com. Catch you next time.